This week, I had an email from a follower of our show write in and ask me about the best flowers from Shakespeare's plays that can be grown indoors in containers. I thought that was an excellent question, so today I'm going to share with you the answer I gave this listener. Welcome to That Shakespeare Life. One of our regular listeners and newsletter subscribers replied to our Monday email that goes out with our latest podcast episode. And she said, "Hello, may I ask you for a favor? I'm looking for about 4 or 5 small, colorful plants and shrubs from Shakespeare's plays that would grow in small pots in an apartment." Why, yes, Kim, you may absolutely ask for this favor. And it's a lovely question, especially here in April when things here in the US are just starting to bloom and grow and everyone's mind turns to lovely little plants. I think it's not only a great question, but timely. So I have picked 3 of my favorites to recommend to you today. So let's dive in. First up, I'm going to go with lavender. Not only does it grow really well in a pot, but it does come from Shakespeare's plays. Now, the word lavender is only mentioned once in Shakespeare's plays, and that comes from A Winter's Tale when Perdita says, "Here's flowers for you: hot lavender, mint, savory marjoram, the marigold that goes to bed with the sun and with him rises weeping. These are flowers of middle summer, and I think they are given to men of middle age. You're very welcome." That reference fits the bill of flowers that come from Shakespeare's plays, obviously, but lavender is also a fun historical choice because it would have been a common sight in 16th and 17th century Tudor knot gardens, which would have likely contained flowers that were not only useful, but you could also give these flowers as gifts. The cultural idea of giving gifts as flowers is reflected in Shakespeare's Hamlet when Ophelia gives a selection of flowers as gifts. For the 16th and 17th century, lavender had the connotation of meaning lovers true. So you would give lavender when you wanted to give that expression. Gilly flowers were reflective of gentleness, and marigolds were associated with marriage. My second choice is chamomile. Chamomile is spelled without the H in Shakespeare's plays. So if you're using a search engine like openshakespeare.com, you want to search chamomile, Camomile. I think I did that right. Anyway, it's spelled like chamomile today, but without the H. But it shows up in Henry IV, Part 1, when Falstaff says that chamomile grows faster the more it's trodden upon. For our indoor container garden, hopefully your chamomile is not going to be trodden upon, but it will make beautiful white flowers and it's just very cheerful. It can do well in a pot, and it likes the indoor environment, provided you set it where it can get some sun. But it's just a nice little happy flower. So I think it's a wonderful thing to have in your indoor container garden because it's just cheerful. It's a nice, cheerful addition to your house. So I like it a lot. And you can make tea from the leaves, but I don't actually know how to do that. So you'll have to look up how to make the leaves into tea somewhere else. But I do think it's a fun little flower. My third and last recommendation for a flower from Shakespeare's plays that would grow well indoors in a container is going to have to be an herb. Now, I'm cheating a little bit here because there are a lot of herbs, so I'm picking kind of a category for my third choice as opposed to a single herb, but that's because herbs grow really well indoors and they like pots. So this would be a good thing to have if you wanted to pick like 1 or 2. That'll get you to that 4 or 5 pots that you wanted to have there. So you have, lavender, chamomile, and then 2 or 3 herbs, I think would be good choices. Some herbs that show up in Shakespeare's plays, and there are a lot of them, but some might be marjoram, parsley, mint, thyme, and there's a whole lot of others, but those grow really well in pots. So I would suggest picking an herb. Now, if I have to pick one, just so I can be official here with my third choice, I think I would probably go with thyme, but that's because it's hard to kill. It grows really easily and it's just really tolerant. If you're someone like me who sometimes forgets to water it as often as you should, thyme is forgiving of that. So that would be probably the one I would pick for you. Throughout Shakespeare's plays, there are 175 plants mentioned across Shakespeare's works. So you have a myriad of options to choose from, not at all only these that I've shared with you today. There's tons. Now, if you'd like to see a list of plants from Shakespeare's plays, of course, I have several podcast episodes that go over this, and I will put a complete list of all, I think it's 4 episodes we have that cover plants and plant-related history in the show notes below this video. One that I want to recommend to you right now, though, is episode 230 with Isla Grant Ferguson. She goes over plants from Susanna Shakespeare's garden, and you can see several of the ones that are available there. And I have this download. This is a printable illustration of several of the plants that that would have been in her garden. And these are some great recommendations for things you can use in your Shakespeare garden. You might also enjoy our episode with Brigida Webster on Tudor knot gardens. I mentioned lavender would have been included in those. She talks about several of the plants that were used in those in her episode. Gerit Quealy has been on the show to talk about all of the plants in Shakespeare's plays. She wrote a book called Botanical Shakespeare that goes over all of those, and you might enjoy that episode. And then we have an episode on herbals with our guest, Sarah Neville. Those are the books that cataloged all the different kinds of plants that were available in 16th and 17th century England. So if you're into primary documents and looking at the herbals, that's a great one to check out as well. Again, I'll place the links for all of these episodes below this video. But if you would like to download this printable illustration and guide, that is available at episode 230. That's completely free. You'll have to sign up for our email newsletter, but I hope you'll enjoy hearing about our show every Monday. So hopefully that's a good trade. And then it's completely free to download this illustration. You can find that at cassidycash.com/episode 230. Thank you, Kim, so much for sending in this very fun question. I hope that this helps you, and I can't wait to see what you put together in your Shakespeare indoor pot garden that you have there. Please send me a picture on social media. I'm on Twitter or Instagram. I'd love to see what you put together. I know it's going to be cute. Thank you so much. That's it for this week. I'm Cassidy Cash. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something new about the Bard. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.